So let me welcome Dr. Uma Shankar, Dr. Uma Maheshwari Shankar, Principal of SIS College. We are indeed highly privileged that Madam is here to give a talk on importance of foundation course to FY and SY students. It is such a pleasurable, and I think it's a big honor for us to have Madam here because she's an expert not only in her own subject of philosophy, but as a principal, she's aware of the importance of foundation course also. Madam has presented a number of papers, have written a number of books and articles published in various journals, magazines, national, international, and is a wonderful human being. So I request Madam to deliver her talk on importance of foundation course, especially keeping in mind with special emphasis on human values. Madam, please.
Thank you, Dr. Amita. Thank you, Stephen. It's always a pleasure to talk to students, and all the more a pleasure when I meet RJ College students, because I feel so much at home there, right? The topic is very relevant today as foundation course is made mandatory for students of FI and SY as very important, because there are certain things that we'll have to learn through that course, right? My emphasis is going to be what is it that you're going to do it in the entire learning process, right? When we talk about values, right, we believe that, or sometimes we have our own conversation in which we say that values are deteriorating, students are becoming less significant because they are not able to operate those values. People are becoming corrupt, and a lot of decisions are not being approved. All this, when we talk about it, we need to understand that somewhere down the line, there has been a kind of deterioration, there is a kind of a paradigm shift, there is a kind of things that which we want to actually look out for, which is not happening. And therefore, we start seeking something more than what is there in front of us. For all this, my personal message to all of you is, when it comes to upbringing, when it comes to thought process, when it comes to what we are going to carry with us, it is very important that we are very grounded, because certain values, especially when we talk about it as whether it's a honesty, whether it's integrity, whether it is a question of compassion, we believe that it can happen only when we start with ourselves. It cannot be taught to people. To be concerned about others, early morning, somebody cannot teach you on that. What is very essential is consistently to dwell on these, whether across all religions you look at it, across all philosophical schools you look at it, you will always find that all of them speak the same thing in the univocal way. And there is no second opinion on that, whether it is ahimsa, paramo dharma, satyam, whether you talk about it. So honesty is the best policy, we talk about it. Then you as youngsters, I'm not asking you to blindly believe them. I'm asking you to churn yourself. Think about it. Have a kind of a revolutionary ideas in it and see that whether it's also applicable now. What very important is, these are the values which have been, like what we call it as a primary values or very significant values. These are the values which you will have to carry it right from your younger days till the end of it. It is not that we are going to have it in an installment, or it is not that only for certain time we need values. After that we can give up. It is not so. Whichever profession we take tomorrow, what is essential is, are we grounded with those values? Tomorrow you may be a CEO of a company, you may have your own startups, or you may be teaching somewhere, or you may be a homemaker, you may be also doing certain things what you passionately believe in. In all of them, where is the fundamental questions that we are asking about it? I simply have a question to all of you, because it is not an offline class, I cannot get the answer directly from you, but ask yourself, if I even question you that, are you honest at all times with yourself? Are you, if even a simple question like, are you good? What may be the answers in your mind? You may say that, yes, I am honest sometimes, not all the time, not always, or not all the days. And certain times, if I ask you for justification, you may say that It is not possible to be honest at all times. Circumstances can change. I want to please my friend. I want to bring peace. So many questions may come in your mind by which you may say that at all times it is not possible to be honest. It is not the question of that. What is important is where have we all made the compromises? What is the justifications for those compromises? Is it worth the deal at all? What happens is every time when we make a compromise with a very fundamental value by which the humanity sustains itself, we are having those paradigm shifts. That is why we are very shocked when top level decision makers, when they are corrupt, when they are the ones who are not able to deliver in terms of what we are expecting from them and it is not happening. That is where we are getting terribly shocked. And that is where you'll always find the society itself getting degenerated. That is so costly at a long period of time. Michael Kitchen, a very interesting writer of travelogue, he says that whenever we speak truth, it is so simple. But whenever we speak lies, we need to hold the crutches, he says. Crutches is you need to hold on to something else. And every time when you want to hold on to something else, you keep changing. But that is one of the reasons why we forget what lies we have told to one person. We cannot be consistent with the same lies with everybody. And all this is not possible. So if we are honest to oneself, or if we are being truthful to oneself, then what happens is it is a plain and a transparent thing. But it comes as a tall order. I know I can feel that some of you may question or feel like asking me that it is possible at all times to be always truthful. Right? Ask yourself, to what extent are we going to have it, in such a way that at any cost, I am not going to compromise for silly reasons. The whole idea of any of the values. So we talk about so many values. I'm going to just share 2 or 3 instances, maybe with a bit of anecdote or the story which should take you home, so the message can reach you, whether it is truthfulness, whether it comes to kindness or compassion, or when it comes to integrity. These are the things which you will have to hold on at any cost without making a compromise. So we start off with when it comes to truthfulness. When you hold on to one value, what will happen to the other could also be a question in our mind. So what the philosophers say that is, if you are able to manage or understand one value, all the others will follow automatically. You don't have to bother about it. Your honest person can be easily compassionate, can easily be more concerned about others. What is happening is, in terms of concern, is we have become very insensitive to human beings, insensitive to animals, insensitive to the planet. And therefore, it is going to a very high level of it. I always try to recall when we were students, maybe Amit is of my generation, she will understand what I'm trying to tell. When we were in the school or college days, even if there was one murder we come across as the news, or I still remember one day going to the college, the highway, there was some kind of a shootout and a criminal was shot in the Eastern Express Highway, and we saw the bloodshed. And first time in our life, we are seeing something like a murder daylight in front of us. After coming home, honestly speaking, I still remember that we just couldn't have food. Somebody unknown, we don't know who is the person. But that bloodshed, that pain the person has gone through, he may deserve that kind of a killing because he may be a criminal. I don't remember the story. But the very sight of such thing was so very grotesque, so very repulsive, that we couldn't even have a good morsel of food. Couldn't go into the system. Today, what do? We watch a wonderful murder, real life story, watching it, and we are having a wonderful pizza or a pasta or a dal khichdi in our hand, and we are able to watch it. It's not just a cinema. It could be a news. Or we would have heard it today morning. It would have been filled with the newspaper. But we don't keep it aside and saying that. I'm not saying that it is right or wrong. I don't want you to look at it right or wrong. Right or wrong are very dangerous words, or good or bad. Don't take it like that. What is happening is, over a period of time, we are becoming insensitive. And not being sensitive is where we are moving away from, values. Times when we come across some kind of a natural calamity, Latur, this happened in US, there was some kind of natural, so many people died. It's just a news. Unless somebody known to us, somebody building ka uncle ka aunt ka somebody was also there in that and also got washed away, then one little bit of sadness may come in for 1 minute for us. That's all. We are back into action. Right? I'm not saying that every time that there are hundreds of calamities happening, should we all feel sad and should we all feel will be mournful about it? No, that is not my answer to your question that is popping in your head. What I'm trying to tell you is human beings have become a commodity today. It's a kind of we are all become products of exchange, products of consultancy, products of something that you can trade with, and that is why we have the whole humanity have become so insensitive. We are talking about as a human concern, compassion, and all as a value today, which should have been our nature, isn't it? We've been born with those things, and that is not happening. So if a person is able to, like most of you might have seen Kashmir Files, and the brutal question that was asked to Bhute, that will you kill your brother, will you kill your mother? And he says yes. In 21st century, watching that is shocking, yes. But behind that, what is going on like that, there are millions of people across the world who are ready to give up their very close kith and kin to be murdered or to be killed or to be wiped away. That is where it is coming up. So let us look at it slightly. Go back to it. Where does this all come from? When I talked about insensitiveness and talked about the concept, the way of murder and other kind of things that you watch it, whether it's a documentary or it's a film or a news, all of them convey the same. Where does it all pop from? It is a question of that if I hate somebody, I just don't want the person to exist. It is not that I hate the policy of the person. I don't hate the words of the person. It's not just that. It's like when you come across, atom bombing and all across the world, what happens is, why did you do that? If you ask those people, they say that there are few people whom I did not like. So the entire city is burnt. So you're ready to compromise so many people on that. What happens to the values? Everything is shaken. So I'm just looking at it little behind this. What happens to the human mind during those decision-making times? It all pops up with this kind of, I'm not able to accommodate another person with a different idea or a different thought because that thought is not satisfying me. That thought is not going to give me happiness or contentment. And therefore, I just want to eradicate that, not only the thought, but that entire human beings. So like Jesus said that you don't hate the person. You may hate what he said. Only the words you can hate. You cannot hate the human being. But today what we are happening is we are hate not only the human being, the entire family, the entire community, the entire society, the entire nation. That is how we have made it. So can we go back and check on our inner minds, internalize these thoughts and look at it, where do we lead to? For me, it's just an aspect of anger in it. Anger can be positive. Like Aristotle, once in his book, he said that anger is right. Anger is right because getting angry to a right person at the right time, at the right place is okay. That is what Aristotle said. That means anger by itself.
And your audio is breaking.
It's clear now? Is it clear now? Fine?
Yes,
fine
it is
now?
clear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying about Aristotle's quote unquote that anger is permissible if it is against the right person at the right time, at a right place, then it is fine. But Aristotle was not justifying anger. What he was saying that is sometimes, because anger is an emotion, and anger is a very primary emotion. So when suddenly you want to do certain things, or you do not, that is injustice, or you do not like what others are doing it, then you will have to express that. But that doesn't mean that you should be angry at all times and express that anger and get it extended to other very, very serious, emotional upheavals. It's possible. A person who is angry, today he is only hitting the other person. Tomorrow he may murder. Even taking a life of the other person, he is not even looking at or having a second thought on it, because he thinks that if I'm angry, I can just wipe out everybody. If we are, that is why today a lot of people are talking about anger management, stress, along with the stress management and all. How do we manage anger? The question is that you need to understand that why are we angry, and is the anger justified? Once when Jawaharlal Nehru was interviewed, he was asked, at all times you have such a smiling face. Don't you get ever angry? When he was a prime minister. So he said that, I do get angry. But if I get angry with, say, Mr. A, right, I see to it that then and there, that issue or that person with whom I'm connecting, I may have a rough talk, I may do all that, but that is over. When I meet B, it's completely a new event for me. I don't carry that anger to this. No, this is a big lesson that all of us should learn, that we always make the extension of the anger. That is why we try to misplace and displace it and continue it with more people. I'm angry with A is justified. But I'm also of the after effects of the anger. I show it on the students, I show it on my servant, I show it on the citizens on the road. Everywhere it gets displaced. That is absolutely wrong. So what is essential is one getting angry, like Aristotle says, it's fine because it's an emotion, but can we able to justify us? There are a lot of humorous words that you will find it with anger. When you get angry, you should count 1 to 100. Who remembers numbers at the time, isn't it? You will feel like shouting at him with beautiful language. But who will remember, I should count and all? These are all ways people will say that you should control your anger. But one of the most beautiful words which I like, it is from Buddha. He said that anger is like a camphor burning in your palm. Remember, though it is burning, understand who is burnt is you. It's not the other. So if it is going to, as much a person who is angry, he may shout at it. Do you think that person is going to be happy, peaceful, nice? No, it is so much of negativity. So instead, either you give the other person an option to improve, tell about it. You must convey, not that you're going to accept all nonsense, but there is a way to do it. These are all the value education. What is important is in what manner will you, Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada, it is said. You must also speak in a pleasant manner. It is not that smilingly you will tell a lot of lies to your teacher. No, lies is a lies. If you're honest enough, like Michael Christian, I told you, you don't have to carry those crutches. Why should we carry those crutches? If you are honest and truthful to oneself, you can be absolutely playing with everybody. What is important is if the transparency is there, then it is easy for you to interact with everyone very easily. It also reminds, if someone was asked what is the best definition for integrity. If I ask you, if it is a class, I would have asked you, and many of you would have answered with the different ways of, to be at all times thinking straight, or your thoughts and your words and your action, all of them should be aligned. A person who is thinking something and talking something else and doing something completely different, you will not trust that person, isn't it? You will say that yesterday you spoke and today you're doing something else. So this coherence or consistency is not there. There is no integrity. But I personally feel integrity means doing something, doing something correct, even when someone is not watching. It should not be the validation should not come from the people. Do you go and ask everybody else, am I very honest? Do you have a honest certificate placard posted on your forehead? No, it is yours. because values have to be internalized. You don't get a certificate that this person has got honesty, this person has got compassion, this person has got kindness. Sub 3 kilo, but only 1 kilo of loyalty. Do we measure it like that and put it? No. What is important is how do we internalize these values into our system? So at all times, right from the beginning of our childhood, our parents or our school teachers would have given us a lot. And when we come down to it, when you come to the college and later on when you leave the portals of the college, the world is going to be the teacher for you. The life is going to be the teacher for you. That is the time you will have a good opportunity to experiment these values which you have got it with yourself. And there you will have the real testing. The litmus test will be when the life is in front of you. That nobody will be watching you. Your parents will not be watching you. Your school teacher will not be watching you. Your college teachers will not be watching you. Whether your integrity is there, whether your honesty with yourself is there, are you compassionate? So today, corporate world is talking about values in their CSR activity, in ISR programs. They say that we must do certain things in order to show our compassion to others. Like TCS and all, they collect a lot of clothes and go to the villages and distribute. Top level of TCS people in their interviews, they have said it. But what the policy is, not only that they give clothes, and they collect clothes also, they have condition. The clothes must be in good condition, not torn. It must be well washed and ironed. So even when you give to somebody, it has to be given with dignity. Not just because I don't like it, I don't want it, therefore I'm giving it to you. No, that is not the way one has. Even the receiver has to be absolutely a person. For you must feel like I got the opportunity to give it to the other person. So charity, when you talk about as a value, or the joy of givingness, for joy of giving itself is a value when you talk about it. There is so much of internalizing of that, and that you are able to see it in all your action. So what we do at SIS, which I also want to encourage Amita and Stephen to start, is you must have a value lab. Maybe next year I can come and even inaugurate it. We must have a value lab.
Yes,
Every month you must have a value, and ask the students to conduct activities. A lot of activities can be done. Now, there is no money involved in it. Students can come up with, collect poetry. You can have a wall of value lab. They can paste it on it. You can have a quiz. You can have a talk. You can have a visit and come back. So when you talk about compassion, when you talk about concern, even as joy of giving, in our college, we just called all the BST workers and sweepers on the road of sign. We called them inside the college. So students just simply gave a sweet to all of them, a perk or something, and told them, thank you for your good work. Imagine, unless everybody has contributed, the society will not improve. When you want to appreciate work, we cannot appreciate only what we are doing it at an institute as a principal, as teachers, as students, but everybody in the society also contributes to the well-being of the society. So you have the sweepers, you have those helpers, you have the cleaners, you've got the milkman, and you've got the washerman, and everybody is important in our life. So let us learn to value the dignity of labor, the dignity of work. Let us have those values which will help us to grow, evolve, rather than move aside. At times, value like courage, justice, and all, which are very powerful values, you may have contradictory opinions or disagreement with others and all. See to it that there is integrity within you. Whether you are satisfied with the decision that you take, for which you are not having a guilt trip. That is the best test that you can have. If you do not have a guilt trip and you are fine with that, I think that will be the greatest test that you can think of. So what I want is you must have this kind of a forum where every month in a year you can have 3 values in the first term and 3 values in the second term. And every department and IQAC and others can join hands in it. And our FC students, which are in FY and SY, they all can join hands and conduct those kind of programs, activities. In a month, even 2 or 3 is fine based on that value. What happens is the whole institute is consciously thinking about that value. So it is wonderful. just before I don't know how much time I have. Before I close, I just want to share one. Uh, that was a value in our college, which we thought of forgiveness as a value. To forgive somebody, you need a lot of courage. It is not easy to forgive. And when in our college, when we had this was pre-COVID, we have forgiveness as a value. After I addressed my students, I told them this is the right moment on the last day of it. Whomsoever somebody has hurt you, there are a lot of people who have hurt us, isn't it? A lot of people hurt us. So can you tell very clearly that I'm going to forgive you, so that you don't carry that bitterness with you? When you don't want to carry that bitterness, because the person who has actually hurt you, that person should tell you sorry, isn't it? That you are waiting for that. But the person's ego, the person's bloated, image the person has, or the power and the status, or whatever. The person may not have told you sorry. That's why all the more you are angry with the person. Then how do you have forgiveness? In yoga, we talk about pratipaksha bhavana of that kind. How do we have forgiveness? So in my college, when I had this program on, and I just told the students on the last day, whomsoever has hurt you, you're angry with somebody. At home also, you may be not talking to your grandfather or uncle or your neighbor, or sometimes even with brother, sister. I'm not going to talk to you because that day you insulted me, and it finished. Whole lifetime we waste in not having any relation. So when I said this, any one of you who have been hurt by somebody, today you will take a decision to forgive them. So do it wherever you are, at home, whosoever. You just go and tell that person, I have forgiven you. It's all over. Let us start a new life. But it was so difficult. To some of them, as I told you, forgiveness calls for a lot of courage. So one student brought his grandmother, with whom he was not talking for years, because for some reason there was a war of words, and he did not like it. So that day, in front of all, he told his grandmother, all that you said, I have forgiven you. Finished, it's over. I'm going to be back at that. You won't believe, both of them cried so much, just because it took so much time and courage for one who has to say that I'm forgiving you, and the other to accept it. And these are beautiful moments, and to apply values in life, definitely you need those courage, you need those kind of a commitment and sincerity, which is very, very essential. And that is why you will find magical moments in lives of people when you start applying them in life. So I just urge all of you, all of us are not perfect, let us understand that. All of us have got a lot of issues. We might have hurt somebody, we might be the recipient of hurt. So once you take off that, evil or negative understanding about that person, at least you are, keep the thing entirely away. At least our life will be at peace. We can continue doing good work. But if you are going to allow that to constantly hit you, we are ruining ours. Every cell of the body will respond to that, and we will not like it. So whenever such kind of, try to help that person. Like in Munna Bhai, we have seen it, or in the other movies, we have seen. We are here to help the other to get out of that. So we do not know why those people are behaving like that. Maybe they need help. But if we can offer such help, it's good. Otherwise, at least let us not, remove our sanctity. Let us not take away our sincerity, purity of heart. Let us cleanse ourselves. That is very, very important, right? I think with this message, if all of you go, all the values, I'm not saying all the values are important and every day you'll have to practice all of them. It is such a tall order. Even one of them, if you're convinced, try to apply it in your life and see the joy, see the magic. And you will find that all the other things fall in place. Suddenly there'll be a surge of love, which Rumi talks about it. You will find a surge of, the kind of a compassion coming out so naturally to you. And you shall be one of the most beautiful human beings walking on this planet. Thank you so much, Amit.
Thank you so much, madam. It was really revealing, highly enlightening, and very intriguing. The thing is about Jesus' concept of forgive and forget is such an essential principle in our life. It is not only just to get forgiven, but also to forgive. You require a big heart.
A lot of courage.
Yes, and this message, just a second. So this is so important, and thank you so much for giving this time, precious.
Yeah.
Your time is really precious, being a principal.
That's
really difficult. Yeah. But you are face to face with foundation course subject, since you deal with teachers who are teaching, and therefore I thought you are the right person. And anyway, as a human being, I know you are a very good friend of mine, so I thought that you are the right person. Thank you so much. Stephen, Vaishaki madam, anything that you want to share? Absolutely. We will definitely put it. So very good. Yes, value lab. And yes, also, Vaishaki madam, you know very well that we even have human value cell, but value lab is something very unique that we must have. And let there be one value. Is it a month or a week that you said?
Month.
Every month.
So you have a long time.
Yes. Yeah. So we will definitely implement that. Yes. Okay. Stephen sir, anything that you want to share? We have also Professor Chandraban, our FC teachers have joined.
Okay.
So Stephen sir, anything that you want to share? I think he has a big problem with his...
something it looks like.
He is offline. So I thank you.
Thank you, Amit.
From the core of my heart. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
We'll be in touch, and we also expect you. We'll have future.
Offline. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.